Hello and welcome to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported with heart-centered ideas to improve your life. I'm your host, author, heart, and self-love enthusiast, Alicia Hartzell. I want to talk to you today about an idea that says, you belong. Now, doesn't that feel good to hear, those words, I belong? It's enveloping. And it's comforting, and it feels good because it's part of your truth. And the truth that we're talking about today is the truth of your divine essential truth. It was woven right into your humanity by your divinity. And there is no separating yourself from the truth. Like this truth, you are an extension of the divine source energy of love. That's right. The divine source energy of love. Your divinity set your humanity into motion, and you are an extension of that source energy. Now, can you put any kind of belief system around this? Absolutely. Any kind of language that feels good to you, source energy or soul or spirit, God, the divine, all of it works. It's all boiling down to you being part of something so much bigger than yourself. And you are an extension of that bigger thing. Your belonging is so deeply part of you. You are the only you this world will ever know. Let that set in. Your seat at the table of humanity was designed for you and only you. You belong here in this moment, in this time, to create in the unique way that only you can. Sometimes life experiences can have you focused in contrast to the truth that says, I belong. And that's okay. There is always power and opportunity in every last aspect of your story. But I don't want you to get stuck believing thoughts that would have you thinking against that truth. I would rather you use them to help you realign with your truth. Here are a few typical thoughts that you might find sneaking into your thinking if you feel left out or like you don't belong. All right, I feel left out. I feel like I don't belong. I am always on the outside looking in at others having fun and doing the things that I want to do. I feel alone. I am always being excluded from the group. None of these thoughts feel good when you think them, because it's never going to feel good to resist or push against your truth. Now, it's important to understand that thoughts like these, they're actually separate from who you really are. You don't have to think them. Now, you may think them, and they may feel very real to you in any given moment, but they don't actually define you, and they are not essential to who you are. Thoughts like these try to limit your truth and make you feel smaller and less than how you were designed to feel and be in your life. It's for this reason that I like to call them out for what they are: limiting beliefs. Now, beliefs are a repetitive pattern of thinking that create focus and momentum that lead you forward wherever it is you find yourself in your life. It's super valuable to note that there are also beliefs aligned with your truth that feel supportive and fortifying as you think them. This is what we want to work on building up for you, these ideas and beliefs that build your truth. When you focus on thoughts like these, you get all jazzed up about your life, and it feels like you are plugged right into that source energy where everything and anything is possible for you. Okay, now there are many ways to pick up limiting beliefs. People who are limited in their own beliefs, they may have handed them down to you. They try to convince you of what your reality should be according to their limitation. And often in our own uncertainty, we take it and we believe it is true. We adopt it. It can also happen when situations come in to your life with a lot of negative energy behind it. Or when you find yourself in a negatively repetitive experience, a limiting belief can easily sneak in and be adopted. Now, no matter how you pick up these limiting beliefs, they're always going to contradict your essential truth. And they're never going to feel good as you think them. That's how you know they're limiting beliefs. So what if you're tired of thinking thoughts that feel bad and you want to think thoughts that feel better instead? Well, it is totally within your power. That's the great thing about beliefs. Because they are simply thoughts that you think over and over again, you absolutely have the power to change them. Now, I like to call this process repatterning. Now, there are endless ways of going about repatterning your thoughts, but it's important to remember that no matter how you go about it, it all happens one thought at a time. That's right, just one at a time. Your first job is to notice the negative thought that is causing you discomfort. It's your indicator that you're out of alignment with your truth, and it's very powerful. Call it out so that it no longer runs in the background of your thinking on repeat. As you bring your conscious awareness to this thought, your next job is to stop believing what it is telling you. I mean, really, can you believe that? You can stop believing what it's telling you. When you do this, you slow down the momentum, the energy, and the emotion that it's carrying with it. You were never meant to believe it anyway. You were meant to use it to feel your way back to your truth. Now, once you have the limiting belief isolated and you can see it for what it is, well, then you can start to make room for new ideas to emerge, new truth to find its way into the forefront of your thinking. This is where you get to redirect your thoughts and claim that truth. Let's say that you have a thought that tells you that you are left out and don't feel like you belong. What if you take the limitation off that thought? Let's just get curious for a minute and see if you can find a new thought that feels better. You might find a thought that says something like, I am included and I feel like I belong. Feels better, right? As you stay in that curiosity and you plug back into your truth, you feel this idea of belonging welling up in you. If your belonging is your point of reference, then you might be able to find a thought like, when my point of reference is focused on my heart and my story, then everything falls into place for me. Now that thought might remind you of a truth like, oh my goodness, I am the author and the main character of my story. That may lead you to a thought like, I can feel connected to my divinity, the magic of my story, and the miracle of my life when I focus on my heart and story. Feels pretty good. Curiously feel your way back into that inner truth and power of creating and writing your story. Feel your way into that miracle that is your life, one thought at a time. Put your mind and your energy there as often as possible. When you achieve and reach for thoughts like these, it helps to create a deeper language for your desire and your truth. It helps you so much to keep those thoughts focused where you want to be. This is why it's so valuable not to react, repress, or rebel from limiting beliefs, but rather use them as the indicators that are going to help you get back to your truth. When you stop taking direction from these thoughts and you get curious instead, you allow them to help you build language for your truth. And from this place, you're going to find yourself having a very different kind of experience with your life. So let's build up those new patterns of thinking and belief. Let's call them out as your truth. First one, I am the author and main character of my story. So incredible. I am absolutely belonging. When my point of reference is focused on my heart and story, everything falls into place for me. When I focus on my heart and my story, I feel connected to the divinity and the magic and the miracle of my life. Inclusion, connection, and being part of something bigger than myself is part of who I am. Doesn't that feel so good? Thoughts like these are more aligned with your truth. And there is a beautiful sense of freedom and power with your truth. So get curious about your thoughts and your feelings. And take a second and third look to make sure that they're really the ones that you want to be thinking in any given moment. It all happens one thought at a time, right? And remember, all the challenges that are in your life are there to help you as long as you use them. So now let's talk about some tools that will help you stay plugged into your truth during this repatterning process. Intention setting has two very powerful jobs in your life. The first job is to consciously claim what it is that you truly want. The second job is to act as a check-in for your thoughts. Now, I'm going to offer you one that is going to feel really good as you're trying to repattern your thinking, but have fun playing with it. Come up with something that feels really good to you and that is all your very own. Now, I would start off your day with this intention and then return to it as many times as you need to throughout the day. So write it down, put it somewhere that you can easily get to it, and come back to it whenever you need it. Now try this one on for size. My intention is to watch my thoughts with compassion and to reach for thoughts throughout my day that feel good to me. That feels good, right? Okay, now another thing that is really helpful as you repattern your thoughts is giving yourself permission. Self-permission is incredible and can feel like you're actually opening a door to what you actually want, or a door that maybe felt closed to you before. It also helps you claim the power to do or not do whatever it is you want to in your life. Now, here's one that you can use, but again, I ask you, please try to create one from your inner being that feels so good to you. Okay, I give myself permission to celebrate my place at the table of humanity and connect with the love and worthiness within me. That one feels pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, in addition, some additional tricks that I love to do as I repattern is to flood your mind with outside sources of similar energy and similar thoughts that are aligned with your truth. Now, an idle mind is always going to go back to what it knows best. So when you're repatterning, it's important to keep moving down those new trains of thought in your mind. Flood your mind with all of the feelings that you want to try to create. So you can listen to podcasts of people who are focused where you want to go. You can watch videos of people who inspire you or deepen the language that you're trying to create for yourself, right? It also helps to see it play out in front of you. Now you can watch a movie to reinforce those new patterns of thinking or to feel positively about the way that you want to be. You can also write them out. Simple. Pen, paper. Write them out as many times as you can, and then go back and reread them out loud. When you write things down, it helps your brain prioritize what it is you want to focus and act on. And reading them actually activates the mind in a similar way and sets your imagination into action at the same time. So prioritize and let your imagination go into action on those truths. Tell an inner circle friend. That's also a really good tool. That way you can really celebrate with them as this new thinking and this new truth comes to being in your life as it unfolds, right? Now remember, repatterning is all about changing your focus to support the new patterns of thinking aligned with your truth. It all happens one thought and one feeling at a time. So watch those thoughts as they come in and choose the ones that feel better to you. These kinds of micro adjustments give you your power back, and over time, they shift the course of your life. Now, wherever you're finding this video, I'm also going to link some of my previous Awakening to Your Story videos that might help you stay plugged into this topic of belonging. There will also be a realigning and repatterning video that will go hand in hand with your truth of belonging. And it'll be right there in the comments for you. If you enjoy a more hands-on approach to learning, you can always grab a copy of the Awakening to Your Story book, the Awakening to Your Story Starter Kit, 3 tools for returning to your power, or the Awakening to Your Story Navigating the River of Life handbook. They're all on awakeningtoyourstory.com, so you can head over there for more tools. Remember, you belong. You belong so very deeply, and you sit at a place at the table of humanity that only you can sit at. So until next time, know that I am holding a place of love for you where your truth of belonging, well, it's undeniable. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.